everyone, Andy here, back again with the Sony Venice. And in this video, I want to dive into the menus and the side panel here on the camera to really show you how to get it up and going for your project. So first we'll go over the side menus, and then we'll dive into the project settings and formats, etc. So quickly on the side panel, this panel really gives you all your menu control that you could ever want. The first level just being what you see right here, and then another level being the menu button, which goes you into a basic menu, and then if you hold that button down, you get to an even deeper menu. So being a Sony camera, of course, has many levels of menus, but they really did a great job of bringing up all the important stuff to the side panel, making it really easy to set and go quickly. So I really am impressed with that, and also how fast it is and how responsive it is compared to other cameras from Sony in the past. So really nice improvements. So just jumping around the menus here really quick, we'll start with the easy one, ND. This is the same settings you have on the side of the camera. Here I can just cycle through my ND filters, 0.3 to 2.4. Fantastic with those dual turrets. I can cancel out of there. On the far side here, I have white balance, and this is a very common menu, of course. Notable things here is you can hit the auto white button, auto white balance button here to create a custom white balance, or you can select from presets, or hit this little step edit button here to dial in a white balance. You can change the core value here, or you can change the temp here, which is this top button, temp or tint. Temp gives you your main adjustments here, and tint gives you your green, magenta adjustments. You also have coarse or fine adjustments here in this top button as well. So you can dial in what you want, and then when you're done dialing it, hit add, and this will add it to the preset list. So very common, but makes sense. Add your options, and off you go. Okay, great. Back home here, I can then jump over to FPS. FPS, frames per second, this is where you would turn on your variable frame rates. By default, it's in the fixed mode here, which gives you 24 if you're in 24 mode, or 2398 mode, matching your project settings so you get your audio. If you turn on variable, it turns on variable frame rates, and here then you can quickly jump to a frame rate for slow motion effects, etc. In the current build 2.0, I can do in 4K all the way up to 60p. So that's in the 4K mode, I'm looking at a Super 35 crop, basically identical to an F55 image size, etc. Same resolution. I can go up to 60 frames. So that's enabled right now. Nothing special needed. That's there. When you go into the 6K modes, you're basically limited to 30 in the 16:9, 17:9 crop areas, and just like 24, 25 if you're doing the full frame 3:2 cut. So still limited there, but in version 3, they're working on more frame rates. There's always more to come of that in the future. So we'll learn more later. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave that. That's 60 just so you can see. There you go. I'll go ahead and leave that and just turn it back to fixed and set that. And I'm back to just regular mode. Okay, great. Exposure index, or ISO. Popularly, they announced that in version 2 they have dual ISO in the camera now, meaning they have two native ISOs, 500 and 2500. Right now, if you look at the side here, you can see I have an ISO 500 listed, and it says I have latitude high H, up, basically number of stops up, 6 stops up, based on my current ISO. If I adjust this number now, I'm changing the exposure index, right? I'm pushing, basically adjusting where my center is of exposure. If I go up higher and I have more stops up, basically making the image brighter, go the other way, bring it down. So the number changes here as you go. This is pretty nice, pretty cool. Dial it in this way. Now, how do I enable dual ISO? Well, right now it's not in this menu, which is kind of frustrating, but we can get there by holding down this full menu. So I'm going to go there later to show you more stuff, but pretty much if you hold down that full menu button here, hold it down for a couple of seconds, it'll go into, you go into project, and then you go into basic settings, and you go to the bottom and you change your base ISO to 2500. Great. Go home. Now it says 2500 is my base. Go here, and again, the same options. I can go from 10,000 all the way up and back down to 640. And from our testing, and we'll do some more content on this in the future, the 10,000 is quite impressive. So low light is quite good in this camera. Dual ISO does work well. So that's enabled right now. You have to go kind of funky in the menus to change it, but once it's on, you're good to go. All right, so I'll just leave this like that for now. Okay, and then finally the look menu, right? The LUTs and look menu. If I go in here, this is where I can set set a 3D LUT on different outputs, or set different presets on different outputs. Basically applying looks and changing the outputs of various HD SDI and HDMI outputs. So here I can set at the bottom the monitor and HDMI feed to have what it's going to be set to, and here I can set it to just being log or 2 different flavors of 709. So you can't apply LUTs to right now the monitor or the HDMI outputs, these guys here. SDIs 1 and 2 right now in the current setting that I'm in, which is an HD SDI output, are basically fixed to log, and 3 and 4 you can choose between the log or the look mode. Look is basically your predefined, whatever you define as a LUT applied, right? So I'll leave this number 3 and 4 here to log, and then I can hit the edit look button here to select either preset looks or a 3D LUT that I load. Now, Ian's doing a video, did a video on how to load a 3D LUT in, so you can watch that process in action if you're interested in how to do that. But basically, you set it there, load it up, and then apply it. So I'm not going to go too much deeper in there. On the second page of this, which is 2 pages here, I can also set the lookup table to my S/S card if I'm in the right mode to do so, or actually I can apply it to the viewfinder as well. No, the viewfinder is actually limited to log, S-log, or log or S-log, or another form of 709. So basically, you have a couple options there as well, but the outputs are somewhat limited, but for the most part, you can get your log output, you can get your LUTed output to where you need it to go from the camera. So that's good news. Okay, so going back home again, now let's talk about diving into the base menu of the camera. So this is like the one level deeper, right? So hit the menu button here, and that gives you this project menu, which is an important one, right? This is where you set what you're recording to, the sensor mode, and everything. So from the top down, the imager mode is where you select whether you're in 4K or let's say 6K. Now, if you want to use the full height of the sensor, you need the full frame license. It's the license you add into the camera. There's also an anamorphic license that you need. I recommend that with this. If you want to use that 6K area, you need to go there. But important to note, you don't need the raw recorder necessarily to use that license. The raw recorder allows you to do the full frame 3.2, the full sensor area way up here, which is 6K 3.2. But if you don't have that, you can still do 6K in 185 to 1 or 17:9, right? Basically, you still get the full width of the sensor, just not the full height without the R7. So still a great option there. And I do have 6.5 and 4.3 modes in 4K. That's your anamorphic options as well. So for the most part, though, you're using your anamorphic modes, or you're using your standard 17:9 or 16:9, UHD, which is they call 3.8K here. And also note they do have a surround view option as well. So if you're in those modes and you turn that on, you can, in your viewfinder, you can see sort of outside of that image area. For obvious reasons, this is very nice to be able to see things as they're about to be in your frame. So that's great. So right now, 3.8K, 4K, 6K, and your anamorphics. Plenty of image modes to choose from. I'm in 6K 17:9 often with the width of it, but you still have the standard aspect ratio, which is great. 6K 3.2 is really just the full sensor area, but it looks a little unique when you look at it on the screen. You're actually monitoring a box as opposed to monitoring a rectangle, So I'll leave it in that. Frame rate makes sense. This is your base project frame rate. Again, and depending on your mode, you have various options. In 6K, I only have up to 29.97 here, right? Input color space. Basically, you have 2 options here. Your S-gamut 3, S-log 3 options, or they did add that S-gamut Cine S-log mode. S-gamut Cine seems to have that nicer image quality we all like, so we kind of generally stay there. Now the options here are your recording modes. If you have the R7 on, which is currently turned off, this is where you turn it on, right? So you go here, you go to AXS record format, and you can choose your recording mode. Right now, you can see I have XOCN ST and XOCN LT as options. These are the recording codecs that are going to go to the R7. The Sony RAW is only really available in the 4K mode. Because I'm in 6K, I can't do it, right? So 4K Sony RAW is still there, but if I go beyond that, I need to use the XOCN. If I turn that on, well, you're going to hear the R7 working up to speed there. It's going to kick on and make some noise and spin up. Once it's enabled, then I can also choose what I want to record to the S/S card. Now, when the RAW recorder is on, I cannot record in all the modes of S/S. It pretty much is limiting me to, in this current mode, to a ProRes sort of proxy, right? HD ProRes. So I can choose ProRes, and off I go. So this is a way to have sort of a raw XOCN data as well as ProRes at the same moment in time, totally matched up. Love it. If you're not going to use the RAW recorder at all, we're going to turn that off. Then you can, on the S/S cards, record in the flavors of XAVC, and then at the same time record in an MPEG. So they do have the sub recording, if you will, and for MPEG if you want to have that proxy of XAVC. But ProRes is really only enabled when you have when you're doing the XOCN or the working with the R7, and they record that to the S/S card. So a little complex there, but basically, if you're recording on the XOCN or RAW, then you got ProRes on the S/S cards. If not, you're not using the R7 here, then you're just recording an XAVC. That's it, right? So a couple options. Now, one thing of note, the XAVC flavors right now are ST and LT. They have a newer, higher quality XOCN flavor coming out, which is even higher data rate, but better quality. So we can look for that in the future. So something of note. Okay. Next over here is timecode in media. Timecode in media, this is where you set your timecode settings. And, you basically put it in free run, etc. You can also name your camera, clip naming conventions, camera A, reel 1, etc. So normal stuff. Monitoring, key one here. This is where you choose how your SDIs are going to come out, what's going where. This kind of plays in line with the LUT applying options, but based on the mode you're in, you can choose the outputs and what they're going to. So down here is the audio menu, and here you're going to set your actual switches, etc. To change between line, AES, and mic here on the actual camera body. But in the menus here, you can choose a couple different things like set your levels, etc. Manual, change them up and down. The last thing, of course, is info, and this is just basically a place where you can see all your system settings. You can scroll down and see the different run times, etc. It's a nice place to see all your additional information. And if you do have a lens that talks via a connector, LDS, Cook Eye, it'll read that here as well under this last lens info menu. Pretty nice. So all that's there. Now, finally, there's the deeper menu. If you hold that button down, pretty much everything we saw here you can get to through almost a similar method or similar menu to on the 555, right? So basic settings, project settings, clip naming, formatting, media, all the above. It's all there. You probably want to come in here mostly to set the status displays that you're going to see on the screens. There's a monitoring. You can set the status info where it's going to be shown, etc. Lots of little things like that are buried in here, and things like running an APR or black balance. It's all in the deeper menu. So lots of subtle things buried in here, but again, for the most part, up in the upper menu. So yeah, that's the menu system. Big key factors, takeaways here. Most things are set up on the outside here. Tap menu once, go to your project. You're setting up your imager mode. That's where you set your 6K, your 4K, your anamorphic options. So you're going to set your color space and your recording formats all in that one spot. And back home to do everything else. You don't need the R7. If you have it, it adds more features. You can do up to 60 frames in 4K now. And dual ISO is there. Deeper menu to dig in to get that dual ISO enabled. But it's all on. So these are the great features of the camera. I'm really excited that 2.0 is out and functioning. It's become very popular for everybody, and version 3 is on the horizon, and I'm sure we'll see even more and more features as that comes along. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.